Hello, hi everyone. Good evening.
Good evening, Venkatesh.
Good evening, Venkatesh.
Good evening, Venkatesh.
Okay, so quickly let's start the session. So today's session will be regarding the phases of implementation, as we started already with two phases. One is with the discover phase and one is with the prepare phase. So today we'll start discussing regarding the explore phase. So we'll see what are the activities a consultant does in explore phase, because at this phase a consultant gets hired. Almost the senior consultant and one junior consultant will get hired in this phase to understand how the business is working and to understand what are the activities they are processing and to actually understand what is the work they are doing in the business. So quickly, let me share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Can someone confirm, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So as I said, we'll start with explore phase. Let me recall what we have done with previous phases. So we have started with discover phase and understood what are the high level scoping. So in discover phase, I said that the business is going to select their implementation partner. So in market, there are a lot of implementation partners. So all big four companies are implementation partner for SAP. And in Fortune 500, some of the companies are implementation partner like Wipro, IBM, Infosys, and Tech Mahindra and Genpact. So these all are also the implementation partner. And the local partners are like Edge Technologies, all those are the implementation partner. So this business, it might be small scale industry or it might be any type of industry. So if they want to start using SAP, as I mentioned, they will be going to select their implementation partner. So while they select their implementation partner, what all the information they should know and what all information an implementation partner should know. How big is business? What is the revenue? That part of things the implementation partner should know. And if they're going to implement SAP, what are the risk? What is the scope of the project? And how many waves the project can be released? And how the project team will get built. And we are also going to show the system to them, how the system looks. So all those things. So here in the discover phase, the business is not selecting any of the implementation partner. They are just explaining the business process and asking them to bid. So in the discover phase, end of discover phase, every documents will be prepared by the implementation partner and a quotation will be sent to the business. Once they receive the quotation, they are going to understand what is the pricing, how much is standard, and how much is going to be customization. Because for customization, the cost is going to be more. If it is greenfield implementation, then it is going to be 60% of standard and 40% of customization. If it is a conversion project, then we cannot analyze how much can be customization and also discuss regarding the rollout. Are we going to do rollout? Are we going to implement in a single go? And post we understand everything, the business will select the implementation partner. After they select, the prepare phase gets started. In the prepare phase, we are going to firstly prepare all the documents, what was discovered in the discover phase, what are analyzed, what are committed, and what business need and what business has confirmed. So all those things we will make a document, because later on the business should not come up and saying that this is the data we have given in the discover phase and this is not the data what you are showing in prepare phase or in upcoming cases. So we should be strong with our documentation so that the business will not come up with any of other requirements. Okay, then we have the as is study. So as is study is nothing but how the business is functioning. So that study will be done by the higher authorities to understand which consultant should we gather here or how the project team should be. And the main thing in the prepare phase is a project charter. Project charter is going to explain what are the rules and regulations what we need to follow while implementing the project. For each and every project, they are going to give a name. So that part we are going to mention in the project charter and the statement of work. What is the working activities we need to consider and who is going to do on what work. So all those things are going to be covered here. And if everything goes fine, then we'll start up with a kickoff meeting. Kickoff meeting is with the leadership. I can call the team as a PMO team, a project management office, or we can also call as steerco committee. Okay, so they will be having a kickoff meeting and decide when to start implementing the SAP project or when to start with the next phases. Then we are going to discuss regarding the module scope, what all modules are we going to have in the scope, and based on that, we are going to prepare the strategy. Okay, then project methodology will be decided in the discover phase itself, but to get clarified, we'll be discussing regarding the methodology once again. And then we are going to discuss in explore phase, how many consultants should we on board? And in realize phase, how many consultants should on board? In explore phase, you will not have much work because in explore phase, you will be gathering the requirements. So you need a senior consultant there to understand the business process and to build the to-be process. Okay, then who is going to train the project or who is going to get trained from the business and who is going to train those end users? And how can we have a communication plan like when all the calls should be scheduled and who is going to be in the calls? So these are the things we discussed in the prepare phase. Now quickly moving to the important phase, which is explore phase. So till now in discover phase, the prepare phase, there was only the project management team, the steerco committee, and only partners or directors used to work in those phases. And some scrum masters or managers used to work in prepare phase. Coming to the explore phase. In explore phase, the actual consultants start working here. So first thing, what we are going to do here is, here also we are going to start with the documentation, because what all we discussed in the discover phase, that is going to get captured in documentation in prepare phase. And after the documentation prepared, in prepare phase also we are going to discuss a lot of things, and those important information needs to be documented. Okay, so here also we have the first work is to prepare the documents. Then we have the requirement gathering. First thing what we are going to discuss regarding the requirement gathering is, normally what happens, you are going to reach out to each and every SME. Sorry, when I say SME, it is subject matter expert. So each and every process, for example, in discover phase, we said that are we going to use IBP, integrated business planning? Are we going to use PPDS? Are we going to use Power BI? So here, what we need to understand is, in each and every business, one person will be completely handling the process. One person will be completely handling the third-party system. One person will be completely handling the reporting. So based on their working manner or working culture, they will decide which SME should be onboarded from their team, from business team. Okay, so keeping them in the loop, from them we are going to gather the requirement. So this might also be into the question, from whom are we going to gather the requirement? From business. We can tell that we are going to gather the requirement from SMEs. So each process owner will have an SME, and he knows the complete business structure, how the business is working. So that person is called as SME, and he will provide us the complete requirement of the business. If not, the SMEs, in some cases, in small scale industries, the SMEs will not reach out to the consultants directly. They will have a project manager. So project manager will gather the complete information from SMEs and provide that information to the consultants. So what type of requirements? First thing what we are going to discuss here is the fit and gap analysis or the fit and gap workshop. Whenever I say workshop, that is not the process building or not the solution building. The workshop is just to understand how the business is working, to understand what is as is. Wherever you see the word called workshop, that means not building any solution. We are just going to start discussing with the business. So you need to understand how to discuss with business. Some might tell that whenever you are joining into some companies. So some has asked me, business started giving the requirement. This is my requirement. How can we provide a solution? As soon as they provide the requirement, you are not supposed to provide the solution to them. They will give the requirement in a high level. So we need to conduct a workshop to understand what is the exact requirement from them. If we understand the exact requirement, only then we will be able to provide the solution to them. Because, for example, now today there will be a requirement of material master. He will tell you that we need to enter the commodity codes in one of the field. Okay, so you will tell that okay, we have a field in material master to enter the commodity code. We will go ahead. But after 1 or 2 days, finance will come up and ask, when you confirm business that commodity code is there in material master, how can we capture that in the purchase? How can we capture that commodity code in purchase or sales? This is not the consultant asking you. This is the finance business asking you. In MM, I said that for process, we have one owner. For reportings, we have one owner. For any third-party tools, we have one owner. In the same way, if I take finance module, in finance module also, they will have their own SMEs. So those finance consultant will work with them. In the same manner, SD consultants also will work with the SD SMEs. So whenever you are going to give confirmation to business, you should conduct a workshop. You should call your SMEs, and if that word is linked to any other module, that module people should be there. That module consultant should be there, and that module business owner also should be there. To understand if we are going to implement this solution, do they have any issues? Okay. If I give a small example, we was using, and if I take a live example, what I have faced. So one of my consultant was implementing availability check. So you always know what is availability check. So we discussed that in STOs. So availability check is used to fetch the information when the material will be ready or when the material is coming to the warehouse. So even SD people was working on ATP check. ATP check is availability check, same. So they call it as ATP check, we call it as availability check. And SD people also have a concept called BOP, back order processing. So they run the back order processing to commit the stock. Whenever the stock is coming, they give the much priority to the sales order. But for procurement, for sales order is not an important for us. For us, the STO is important. So STO is also, I want to transfer the material to another plant. That means a sale. Is it? Sorry. A sale is happening from plant to plant. But in SD, the sale is happening to the customer. So what happened with the miscommunication? We did not communicate that to SD people, and they designed their ATP such that whenever the stock comes, that would get committed to sales order. We configure the system. Whenever the stock comes, it should commit to STU. Now, in this case, the system is confused. From our side, we are telling STU is prior, and for sales and distribution, the sales order is priority. Now, how system is going to adopt that functionality? So that is an issue. So to avoid this type of issue, it is better to conduct a workshop. Okay. Now, fit and gap analysis. So fit and gap analysis is nothing but we have two concepts in SAP. One is fit and one is gap. When I say fit, it is going to be the process what they have given or the requirement what they have given is feasible with SAP. SAP can achieve that functionality without any customization. And whenever I use a word called customization, then it is not standard. We are going to involve an ABAPer there. ABAPer is nothing but a programmer. So morning also we got an error while running subcontracting process. So we got a short dump. That dump was the function module is not activated. I asked an developer to activate it. There are two consultants in SAP. One is functional, one is technical. So functional is going to gather the requirement from business and set up that in the system. But if that functionality is not going to fit SAP, there is no process to fulfill their requirement, then the technical consultant is going to come into picture, because technical consultant can create a new functionality in system. He can write a code. One morning, we also try to play with the code. So I hope you guys have seen the code morning. So they will write a code in that way, that is a JavaScript code, and they will prepare the own functionality or new functionality. So there is customization. I'll discuss regarding the standard and customization in support project. Okay. And I also discuss bit in explore and realize phase. So what is going to happen, will happen in SAP is fit. What is not going to happen is a gap. So what is going to happen is a fit, as I mentioned, so that will be done by consultants straightforward. What is a gap that is not going to happen in SAP without the developer? So we need a developer. So first thing what we do in the workshop is we are going to visit. We are going to take a survey saying that we will speak to multiple SMEs and understand what are the process they are following, how the purchase is happening. For example, how is their materials are divided, how are they going to purchase, before purchase are we going to have a RFQ process or not, do they have any other system doing RFQ? So those type of surveys. Okay, then now the actual workshop comes. So what is actual workshop? Actual workshop is you visiting the factory. In some cases, if business is in another country, so they hire one person onshore, one person offshore. One person will be nearby to the factory and one person will be in another country. So the person who is nearby to factory will visit the factory. So first week they will plan for a workshop. They will visit the factory and first understand what is their manufacturing. Are they doing manufacturing or not? Are they doing any other activities? Okay. Then first day, what they will do, they will plan a visit, a plant visit. A plant is nothing but it can be a manufacturing plant, it can be a warehouse, it can be a procurement department. They will visit and see what are the activities that are going to happen, and we make a note. This is without gathering any requirement from them. The business has not started to give any requirement. For example, if some of you are already an engineers, first studying engineers, so they take you to some factories as a workshop. They take you to some factories to visit the factories and see how the work is happening there, how the planning is happening, how is the manufacturing happening. So why they take you to the plants? To understand how actually the industry is working. What are the activities are going to happen in the industry? So when you understand that, you will be capable to design a solution to them accordingly. So when someone calls, this is very important. If someone is asking you to visit a factory, when you join as a consultant, when you get a project, someone is asking or your project manager is asking, can you visit the factory once of the client? Don't deny it. Visit the factory. If you visit the factory, then you will have a better understanding how the business is working. You will have better solution to them. Okay. First day you will have a plant visit. Second day you will have a warehouse visit. And then what all you have observed in the plant visit or the warehouse visit, you are going to have a discussion with internal team. It might be with the internal team or it might be the business team. In the same meeting, you are going to explain leadership, what you have understood from that visit, what is the project scope. Now, you have not involved in the prepare phase or discover phase. You have no idea what are the project risk. So when you visit the factory or the plant, you will have some idea what might be the risk. So those risks also should be listed down. And what is the project scope? If you're visiting factory, you will have some idea how to build a system. So that can be designed on your own. What is your assumption? When you visit a factory, what is your assumption? How can you build your enterprise structure? You have seen the plant. So you have a lot of sections, and this visit will help the warehouse management team very much. Because when they visit a warehouse, they will see how many doors they have, how many inbound doors and how many outbound doors, how many shelves they have, how many racks they have, how many storage bins they have. So all those things they can assume how much time it may take and what type of storage they are doing. So those all are your assumptions. So you are going to explain that to the business and understand what is their view in it. If they tell, okay, this is if you have seen this, then this is not the way we are working on daily manner. It happens only some days. This is the working culture, what we do every day. So they might tell you better what is happening in the with the business. And when you see it, you will have one idea. When you listen it, you will have one more idea. So you should gather all those things. So that is the requirement gathering. Okay. Then you have the split out workshop. Now you visited the warehouse, you visited the plant. Regarding this, you had a meeting with your team members and you understood what are the scope, what are the risk, what are your assumptions in full 1 week. Now you are going to have a workshop with your team, your personal team. For example, if you are a PP consultant, then you will explain the P2P cycle to them. You will try to build the enterprise structure. And I took the same example of construction-based industry. You have concrete, precast, and wood manufacturing. So these all are manufacturing. How they are doing manufacturing? Are they doing manufacturing internally or externally? If they're doing manufacturing internally, then it is going to be a production order, a manufacturing order. If they're doing the manufacturing externally, okay, let me ask you a question. If the production is happening externally, if your guys are going to get the work done from external supplier, then what is that process called? We have covered this topic.
Subcontracting.
Yes. So whenever you are going to send or whenever you're going to get the work done from external supplier, then it is called as subcontracting. Whenever the work is getting done internally, it is called as a manufacturing order or production order. So that is the reason you need to get interaction with all the other modules and understand what is they doing. Okay. And coming to sourcing and procurement is a single team, for example. So what type of procurement are they doing? Are they doing direct? Are they doing indirect? Special procurement, quotation process, procurement planning, service procurement, asset procurement. Some business might not use all these. They might use only some. You need to understand how they're doing it, how they're procuring direct material. So direct material is nothing but you are going to buy the material and store it. Indirect material is nothing but consumables. They're buying it, they're consuming it immediately. Special procurement, STO, subcontracting, consignment. So each and everything. So some business might do subcontracting process differently. Some business might do a standard, some business might do differently. For example, recently I have seen a subcontracting process where it was completely different. So they receive a sales order. Against sales order, they are going to create a subcontracting requisition. Against that subcontracting requisition, they are going to create an STO for the components. So when you're running subcontracting process, you need components and you need to send that components to supplier. But here what happens? They don't have the components in stock. To get the components, they have a different factory who is going to work on those components and gather those. So from subcontracting requisition, you are going to create two documents. One is the production order, and based on that production order, the other plant is going to manufacture the components and give it to the supplying plant. And then that component is going to supplier. So you have two processes here. You are doing internal manufacturing and sending that component to the external supplier to get the final product. So if this is the case, Then how are you going to build the system? Well, first of all, you need to conduct a workshop and understand what is their business structure. How are they working on each and every process? And build a flowchart. And that flowchart will help you very lot. Seeing that flowchart, you'll understand that okay, this is a process. So based on this, we need to design our system. So when you are discussing this, you need to parallelly prepare the demos also for them. So if this is going to happen in SAP system, if it is feasible, then show them a demo in the workshop itself. When they see the demo, then they might have a lot of questions. So you can clear those. And if they say this is bit critical or crucial and it is not going to adopt their business function, then we need to provide a different solution. So when you're discussing regarding each and every process, what will be the outcome for you? The outcome will be, first thing is the MOM. MOM is nothing but minutes of meeting. What is a discussion? And when you're doing a workshop, it is very important to note down what you have discussed in the meeting, what discussions you have done. When you're doing discussions, you will take some decisions. When business says this is the function we are doing, you will sometimes consultant will give on-spot solution. So that is a key decision. And in some cases, the question is open and we are not answering now, and we are going to answer it later on. We have asked them to wait for some days or give us some time to answer on those questions. So those are the open issues. Then we have the integration points. If they are using any third-party system, then how are we going to integrate? Or if this process is linked with any of the different modules, then how are we going to do that? Okay. And what is upcoming action? Okay. So these are the things what we are going to discuss in the workshop. And if there is any issues, if the process what they have described and if it is not going to happen, then log an issue stating that this is not going to happen in SAP. Based on that, your gaps will get identified. When I say gaps, in SAP, gaps are differentiated in 6 types. So that is called as RICEF, WRICEF. W is nothing but workflow. So I have given it here. W is nothing but workflow. Workflow is nothing but how is the data, sorry, not the data. You cannot call it as data. Okay, let me take this way. So we have spoke regarding the release strategy. So whenever a document is created, someone should approve it. So in the same way, if anyone is creating a document, how that flow should happen, who should approve it? If business have any requirement, for example, business is asking, when we trigger a release procedure, I will not log into system every time to check what are the POs open. I want an email to be triggered, but that is not standard. Then that comes under gap, and that requirement comes under workflow. Okay. Then you have the report. In SAP, you have standard reports. If business is not satisfied, if they want any other customized reports, then it is going to fall under gap. Then you have interface. We will discuss regarding this in support tickets in depth. And we have interfaces. Interface is nothing but when you're going to connect your SAP system with other system. Conversion, when you are migrating the data from your legacy system to S4 system. Enhancement, you are not changing any standard system. You are just enhancing the solution. And the forms. Forms are nothing but whenever you create a purchase order, a PO form is getting generated and you can customize that also. So the gaps are divided into these sections. If any of the gaps or if any of the customization is coming, then that will fall under this. Okay. Then we have the project structure. Project structure is nothing but for all these, you're going to prepare the documents. How is enterprise structure is going to build, how the document types are going to build, and what are the material types, what are the valuation, what are the vendor account groups. So all this you prepare a document, because once you prepare the document, you're going to hand over the document to the business, and once business approves, then only you're going to start that in the realize phase. Okay. Let me take a quick pause here before I move further. If you need me to collapse something, let me know. Let me keep like this, or let me reduce it. I think you need to focus a bit. Okay. Any questions in the pre-request?
Venkatesh, is it mandate that all the projects should go through all these phases, or can business customize the phases as per its needs?
Yes, it is. It is mandatory.
Is all steps relevant for all types of industries?
Yes, it is. And each module, every module is going to work in a similar fashion. Any more questions? Okay. If no questions, then that is what we do in the pre-request. Then we have the activities. The activities are not much. We are going to, what all workshop we have conducted here, we are going to execute that in the reality and show them. I also covered that part here. We will provide the demo to business. Okay. Then we are going to prepare the as is business process and convert that to be process. Okay. 1 second. Yeah. And coming to the second stage. In second stage, first we have analyzed what is fit and gap analysis. In the second workshop, you are going to gather and you're going to execute what we have discussed in the fit and gap analysis. And you are going to have the open issues to discuss, and then you're going to close the workshops. Okay. Then you are going to prepare a final document stating that which all processes are going to be fit and which all processes are going to be kept. Okay. Then after this, after you analyze what is fit and what is capped, and you prepare the document, then you're going to start preparing your business blueprint. This is very, very important step in the explore phase. So business blueprint is nothing but you are going to sketch how the enterprise will look. How are we going to differentiate the material types? How are we going to differentiate the vendor account group? Each and every point we are going to maintain that in the business blueprint. So this activity is very, very important in the explore phase. So I will go through with you guys with one of the business blueprint, and I want you guys to prepare your business blueprint on your own. Okay. So before I show the business blueprint, I think this is a duplicate. Yeah, there's a duplicate. Let me delete it. Okay. Then before I show business blueprint, I want to discuss something. Here, you are going to design all the things what we discussed in a tool. So business will purchase a tool. It might be Zaira or it might be Octane. So let me show that also how Zaira on Octane looks. So this is a software, how it looks. So each and every business will,
It's not visible. I'm still seeing this old screen.
let me reshare. Let me know if you can see.
Yes, it's visible now.
So this is the tool which is Zaira. So it will look like this. And what this tool will do is this tool will explain what is a to do. what are the activities we need to do, and what are in progress and what are done. So which activity should be done by which person, everything will be here. So this is a very helpful tool which where you can also create your defects. If there is any defect, you can check with the images. And then you also have an tool called ALM Octane, which is now coming into industry. You can also see what are the differences between Zaira and Octane. Even this works similar to an Zaira. So these are all are the tools. So you will design what needs to be done. So you can see here, organize test cases. You can create a test cases where business should test, store the requirements and defects, and you can build the traceability requirement test defects. If you see, everything is coming with a part of requirement. So what all requirement you are gathering, that can be created in this tool. And this is going to help in most of the agile projects. The agile projects. So what I'm telling here is sprint planning. These all activities like design issue log, creating a design, sprint planning, all those things are going to fall under agile methodology. Normally in activate methodology, what we do is we don't list down the activities. We don't use these type of tools. We use Excel, we use an shared drive to maintain the data, and we will create those and maintain those Excels. But if you are working on agile, that is the reason I call agile is a structured methodology where business are leaning to agile now because everything is getting documented in this type of software so that each and everything is recorded. Now in activate methodology, if you want to create a test case, you're going to create the test case in Excel or Word. But if you are in agile, they should and must use these tools. So test cases will be created in this tool itself. All the requirements we are going to store here itself, and defects, the test, what is happening regarding the requirement, how are we going to progress on the requirement. Everything is going to happen in this single tool. Okay, then if I take advantages, you can see here there are a lot of advantages. You can create your customization workflows. So if you're creating any issue, any requirement, any change request, okay, then to whom it should go for approval? When you are raising a change request, for example, I said that whenever we are coming to the requirement gathering, everything should be signed off regarding the prepare present is and discover phase. If business is going to change anything, then they need to get a change request. They are requesting a change, then that should be raised. When they're raising a change request, then that should be approved and that should be paid. So they can get this customized workflow, what all issues we are mentioning or even what all issues we are highlighting, that will be tracked. You can create a roadmap. What are the activities are going to happen in each step? Then the team collaboration. You can view the progress on analytics. You will have the better visibility of the project, what is happening. You will have the dashboards. You don't want to create your own dashboards every time for the presenting to the business what is the progress of business or progress of SAP implementation. So you will have complete dashboards. It will look like this. What is the progress we have done and how much money we have spent and how many issues we have open and how many has been resolved. So all these will be tracked in this tool. There are a lot of advantages here. You can also use this tool for communications. You can also use this for software developments, detailed reports, and it is mostly supporting agile methodology. Okay, so this type of tools will be used in agile methodology, and here we have sprint planning. So this sprint planning is nothing but in each month we call one sprint. In each month we call that is one sprint. In that month, if we are deciding that this activity should be completed, then that should be completed. In activate methodology, we don't have any timelines. We are just tracking, keeping an Excel. But in agile methodology, if you are planning a sprint, then that activity will show that you are having a backlog. This should be completed previous month. You are still carry forwarding this to month. So that is called as backlog management. Okay. Then I said business blueprint. You're going to take a business blueprint sign off in this phase. And you're also going to write an FS documents, decide the specification. So FS is nothing but functional specification. So whenever you feel that this process is gap, so we already would have discussed in this fit and gap analysis, we already finalized what is fit and what is gap. So I also said that gap is differentiated in RISE. So here you are going to start writing the requirement from business into a document called functional specification. If any gap need to be reported to the technical people, so I said that whenever there is a gap, we need a technical consultant or a ABAPer who is going to work on these issues, and he is going to build a new functionality in SAP. If he want to build a new functionality in SAP, he will be expecting some details from us. So that details we need to provide in a document called functional specification. So we have a dedicated session on this functional specification. We will discuss how to write the FS documents, how to explain the requirement to technical consultant in his language. So technical consultant has their own language, which is called as table and field language. So you all guys know what is in tables and fields. For example, in Material Master, we have MARA, which is table, MARC, MARD, these all are the tables. Under that, each and every field, material number, that is MATNR, MATNR, old material number. Then you have material group. So each and every field has their field name. So you need to communicate a wrapper in those languages. I'll explain you in that session how are we going to explain the requirement to the wrapper in that language. Okay, so these are the things what is going to happen in the explore phase. Any questions here? If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be answering the questions. In the meanwhile, I'll try to open the FS documents what I have. Sorry, not FS, a business blueprint. Let me search for the blueprints what I have. I'll have only the basic blueprints. Let me search for that. Any questions?
Does any business have a fixed schedule on which so and so phases should be completed?
Yes, normally that is decided in the prepare phase. In how many waves are we going to release the SAP, and in how many plans are we going to release? That is discussed. Any more questions? Okay, then let me share the business blueprint, what I have. This is the business blueprint. If you want this business blueprint, ask Prabhu, he will upload it in the Teachable. So business blueprint will look like this. First, you're going to explain what is the material management. Okay, and what all things are going to get covered in the material management. You can see what all it is just an overview. We are just telling it is going to be in stock and non-stock purchases. We are going to have PR, RFQ, PO, contract, and schedule agreements. And we are also going to explain some basic steps of configuration. Okay, then you're going to build an index. First thing is the org structure. In org structure, company code is not part of MM. I already mentioned it. It is going to come under the finance. So the enterprise structure will start from plant in the MM material management. So plant, store location, purchase org, purchase group, and the procurement process. These are the org structure. Then we have the master data, material master, vendor master, PIR, and the source list. Okay. Then you have the procurement process, the purchase requisition, quotation, purchase order. How are we going to send the purchase order, contracts, a release, and the pricing procedure? We have not covered this topic. We are going to cover this topic by next week. Okay. Then the valuation, account determination. So how are you going to create the valuation class, valuation area, account category reference, valuation grouping code? This all we have discussed in the automatic account determination. Then the inventory management, how the goods receipt is going to happen, issue, transfer posting, the physical inventory. We have discussed all the topics. So if I go in depth, so this is how you're going to show the business, how we are going to create the enterprise structure. So this is the company code. Under that, you're going to have one plant, plant 1 and plant 2. And you're going to have one purchase order for this plant and one purchase order for this plant. And you're going to have reference purchase order assigned directly to your client. Then you have one store location with this, one store location with this. With this map, you're also going to define that in the Excel format. So this is a company code. You are also going to give the code with the definition. Okay. So plant description is going to be plant 1 domestic, plant 2 export. For that, you're going to give an SAP code PL01 and PL02. And where is the location of the plants? Okay. Then you have the store locations. In one plant, you're going to have so many store locations. You all guys know how the enterprise structure is going to work. I'm not going to repeat it again. In this plant, how many store locations are we going to have? This is a detailed document which is going to explain business, how we are going to set up the system. We are going to show this in a document showing that, okay, this we are going to create one plant in SAP. Under this plant, we are going to have so many SAP, there's so many store locations. We have not created this in SAP yet. We are just showing them in the Excel. So these are the purchase orgs we are going to create. This one is standard. When I say standard, it is company code specific. Reference on the client. Then what are the purchase groups? Purchase groups will have the individual. So they're going to create with the description, with the phone numbers. Then this is the procurement process. We are going to get a requirement from department. We're also going to get a requirement from MRP. We have not covered this MRP, we'll cover it. Against that, we are going to create a PR that will go for quotation. We are going to maintain the quotation, compare it. Once we finalize the supplier, we are going to convert that into PO. It is going to get released. And once it is delivered, invoice verification happens and the payment happens. Okay. If you are strong with level 1, you will understand this business blueprint easily. Then what are the material types? For each and every material type, what is the number ranges? What are the material groups? And are we going to maintain the moving average price or the standard price for each and every material type? What are the views we are going to have for each and every material type? So this document will help you to understand how you need to configure business. Sorry, you need to configure SAP system. And business will understand how SAP will be configured by consultants seeing in a paper. Okay, what are the material groups? Coming to vendor master, what is your vendor account group? What is your vendor account group number ranges? Then the Incoterms, what we are using. Then how are we going to use purchasing for record? How are we going to use source list? We don't have config for purchasing for record and source list. So just we are explaining what is info record, what is source list. Then coming down, you have PR document types with the number ranges. Then you will have the PO document type with number ranges like this. And are we going to use subcontracting, third-party stock transfer in the purchase order? So this document will tell you what all activities is business doing. Then after this, you're also going to tell them what is contract, what type of contract we have. Then coming to the release procedure. In release procedure, we are going to tell what are the parameters we are going to use. So we used value, purchase organization, and I think we also used company code, I guess, or I think we used purchase group. So what is the condition we are going to create for release procedure, and who all are going to be the approvers? On what condition are we going to release this? So here we have, if it is a plant one, if the value is less than or equal to 10,000 INR, then these are the persons who are going to release. If it is greater than 1 lakh INR, then you need one more person to release this, a commercial director. So what all we discussed in level 1, everything is going to be prepared in a document. So I think you guys would have also designed this in system, but it is time to design in Excel, or it is time to design in the Word or anything. You can choose yours. Okay, this part we did not cover. I don't want to mix this up. Okay, then we have this automatic account determination. For each and every material type, how many evaluation class are we going to have? How this evaluation class is getting assigned to this material type using account category reference. If you are going to use any evaluation grouping code, how are we going to group those? And how the OBYC setting is going to happen. BSX, WRX, PRD. And if you are going to play with the account modifiers, we also discussed regarding account modifiers. So if you are going to assign one GL account for one movement type, then this account modifier is used. So how are we going to use this account modifier? So each and everything you are going to explain in this document. So this document is called as business blueprint. The topics will not change, but the content in this document is going to get changed. You are going to modify this document as per the business process and the business scenarios. Okay. Any questions regarding this document? And you're also going to maintain the gap analysis. So what is the gaps you have analyzed in this when you're gathering the requirement? So if the business need a PO form like this, then they need to provide the document. Okay. And that's all. Any question? If you want me to move to any other page, let me know. I'll go to the other page.
Venkatesh, is it a real one or a dummy one?
This is the real one, but it is modified as a dummy.
Okay.
You will not have a company name with the name of this. With this name, if you search, you will not have any company name. But the company name is different, but it is a steel industry.
Okay.
And I don't think so. This is a latest one. This is a bit old one. I don't have the date on this. It should be the old one, a bit old. Yeah, I don't have the date. So this VP has the content of all the modules. If you want to move to the specific topic, let me know. I'll move to that topic.
What is transmission of purchase order?
Sorry, transmission of purchase
Transmission.
order is how you're going to send the purchase order to suppliers. A transmission
Okay.
is how you're going to send. Any questions?
Venkatesh, this business blueprint we will be preparing from our end and we'll be sharing with the client, right?
Yes, it is.
And so that they understand how they will work,
Yes,
or
that is the
it will be
reason.
give,
That
or
is the
the basics
reason.
will.
Sorry.
1 second. Or the basics will be given from the client, and we will just reorganizing as per SAP needs.
No. That is the reason you are visiting the factory. You are visiting the factory, understanding how they work. You are completely gathering the requirement, what is their need, and you are going to analyze the fit and gap analysis. Only then you are going to create this business blueprint. When you start building a business blueprint, you will have an idea of what is a business working culture. They are not going to give, or they are not going to explain you this is going to happen and you need to modify this standard one. You are going to prepare the business blueprint from scratch. Only when you are completely known of this project, then you will start preparing this business blueprint.
In this business blueprint, like only for module, we will be working, and we will be assisted by our seniors or like colleagues, right?
Yes, that's what I said here in the explore phase. The consultant who will be working will be a senior consultant with the guidance of a manager. And under these two people, there will be a junior consultant. So the guidance will be getting from senior consultant as well as the manager.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Sir, is it mandatory for consultant? Like whatever the functional models are there,
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
is it mandatory for consultants, sir? Like what we need to prepare a blueprint?
Yes, it is mandatory. That is a job. That is the first job you get. Based on the business blueprint only, you're going to design the system.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Venkatesh, that we will be having this kind of template kind of thing, like what and
Yeah.
all should be designed.
Yes, you will have a
So
template.
only as per that, yes. Mhm. Okay.
So the template will look similar to this. The index, what you're seeing here, this is your template. Any more questions?
Sir, may I know the function of Jira, the tools which you are going to use?
Function I already explained, I guess. Let me open it again. I closed it or opened. Yeah, these are the functions.
Actual function, sir.
Yeah, these are the actual functions. What do you mean by actual functions? Why this is used, or what do you mean by actual functions?
Like why we should use this? These are the tools.
These tools nowadays, what is happening is in Activate methodology, everything is getting captured in Excel files. So Excel file is prepared, and that Excel file is shared or stored in the shared drive, and everyone are going to the Excel file and updating the data. And then once the data is updated and you're going to update the status of the work, will you be able to visualize when you need what is the progress of it? You need to prepare a dashboard again for that. So when you're using these tools, so you will have a dashboard readily available. So I think I showed that part also here somewhere, or I closed it. Yeah. So you will be having the dashboard readily available for it. You will be able to analyze the progress easily. You will be able to understand what all functions you have left behind. You need to cover those. And when you prepare a test case, normally if you don't have this tool, then you need to prepare a test case in Excel and give the Excel to the business, and they will use Excel and update it. But if you're going to create a test case in this tool, then they can directly tell if this is passed or failed. And if it is failed, then they can directly create a defect here. So what is the issue they are facing? That defect will automatically flow to the consultant and he will get notified. And a consultant is going to work on the defect, resolve it, and then reply back in the same tool. So the communication gets easy. The data storage is going to be very effective, and the defect resolution is going to be more user friendly. Yeah, so these are the advantages I can tell. Any more questions?
In this, I can see that inventory management and physical inventory, which is part of warehouse, right?
No, we also covered what is inventory management. We discussed how the goods receipt is going to happen in inventory management.
Yes, yes. That
There
we
are
got.
there are two types of goods receipt, as I mentioned. So one is happening in inventory management, one is happening in EWM. So if it is going and falling under EWM, then it is going to fall under the extended warehouse management consultant. If it is going to happen under inventory management, then the configuration lies in MM consultant.
Okay. Understood.
Can you please go to valuation class?
Yes. Yes, I'm in evaluation class screen.
Yes, Venkatesh, thank you. I just wanted to see how it looks.
Yeah. So how the valuation class is getting assigned to account category reference, and this account category reference will get assigned to material type. Then this valuation class will get reflected in your material types. So this is an indirect linking.
So in spares also they have mechanical and electrical spares.
Yeah, in that case, I already mentioned, right, if you want to have different spares, then you cannot differentiate with account category reference. You can differentiate with your
Valuation class.
valuation class.
Okay.
In our case, when we have designed the account category reference or automatic account determination, we created two different valuation classes under single account category reference.
May I know what is VERP? Material type.
It's the packaging material.
Okay.
All the cardboard boxes, labels will come under packaging material. The pallets.
Hello, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, but your voice is too low.
Sir, now, sir.
Yeah, it is better.
Sir, in the case of material type, you said about a service like valuation class. There is a service
Yes,
element is there, no?
yes, we have
Uh,
SARB.
SERB, but in this case he has mentioned DIEN.
Yeah, it might be a type. It might be a type of mistake. It is
Okay, okay.
SARB.
SERB, no, sir.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions? Okay. If no questions, I can start the realize phase, but I think I cannot cover it in 30 minutes. So it is better to start in the next session because it might take 1.5 hours to cover realization phase because I also want to cover the transport part there. So it is better to cover there. So we will wrap up here with explore phase. And my suggestion to you guys is to prepare the business blueprint in this week and share with me if possible. If you need this document as a reference, you can take it with Prabhu and ask him to assign this in the teachable. So he has this document. So he can assign this. Okay. Yes, if you're joining with 3 to 4 years experience, you should deal with every topic, what we discussed here. It is just if you work on one single project end to end, then you will have idea on all these topics in system. It doesn't depend that you need to have more than 4 years or 6 years to work on all these topics. It is not like that. If you work on one project, you will have the idea on complete topics. Any more questions?
I had a question regarding I was doing this PO, I was generating a PO, but while generating it had an error. It was showing that the material is not maintained by the accounting department.
Okay. Then I think I have shown this morning. So in that case, what happened is your material, what you created, is not extended or you have not created that material for accounting view. So what you can do is you can go to the transaction MM50. Let me log into the remote desktop. Give me a second. So let me show you a quick demo. We'll be working, that depends on the experience. If you have experience more than 5 to 6 years, then you'll be working in the explore phase. If you are 3 to 4 years experience, then you will start working in realize phase. So I'll create a material. So I'm creating it for basic data, purchasing, and general plant, but I'm not selecting accounting. This is a mistake you have done. So if I create this material, okay, so this is the material. If I use this material to create a PO, okay, you will see the same error not made in accounting department. So to clear this error, you need to go to the transaction MM50 because you are not maintained that material for accounting view. Put the material number here. In the maintenance status, select the accounting. The transaction is MM50. Select B as a maintenance status, put the material and execute. You will see your material coming. Select this and click on maintain the material. That will bring you to the accounting view. Put the valuation class, put the price, and save it. This will get converted to green. Now create your PO. Now you will not get that error anymore. It is resolved. You can save this.
Okay, yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Any more questions? Okay. If no questions, we'll wrap up here. And today's morning issue with subcontracting did not get resolved. I'll try to get that done by next week and explain how to create a challan and how to create goods receipt for that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Venkash.
Thank you, sir.